to have the mayor in studio, Scott Maddasion, on today's FYI program. Before we get into some of the topics you put together for me, let's take a look back to Tailgate and Tall Boys. Again, how did this all come about? I mean, what was the emphasis to have something like this in Clinton?
So even back when I campaigned and I talked about Riverboat Days, I loved going to Riverboat Days when I was a kid. I wanted to find a way to bring something like that back. Bringing Riverboat Days in the exact way it was is just not feasible in my eyes from what I looked at. Just the cost, the amount of volunteers, the amount of expertise that we may or may not have left in the community from that, and then also just the sheer space that we use down there. A lot of it doesn't exist anymore. You know, the ballpark's been expanded a little bit. They used to have Jones Field behind there, right?
Right.
And then the campgrounds where we did the tractor and truck pulls and demo derby. So it would have taken a lot of work on that front. So looking for something like that, I just by happenstance was talking to a guy in the community that had some connections with a guy in radio, and he told me I should bring this Tailgate and Tall Boys Festival, and at that point I was like, I don't even know what that is. So I Googled it, and I'm like, okay, it's a music festival, wonderful. Like, and then I got the email for Wayne, who's the president of USA Concerts, and I emailed him, and sure enough, he emailed me back right away. I mean, pretty much, and told me he would come meet with me and talk to me, because I didn't know this, but they were looking to expand their brand, expand their locations. They're pretty aggressive. They want to they're going to Rockingham, North Carolina this year. They're in Michigan, Illinois, Iowa, and then they're trying to expand some more. So they already had that. And then Wayne is really good friends with Matt Prescott, who owns Candlelight. And I'm pretty confident that Wayne called Matt, and Matt was like, you got to come at least talk to him, right? Yeah. From what I've heard. And they used to do it in Peoria on the riverfront, so they were used to the kind of that riverfront feel, I guess, and they moved to Bloomington. And then they came here, and they loved the site. They brought it to the city or to me and said, hey, we can't do it all ourselves. We need to have a partnership or investors or some sort of agreement to get it going. And we worked it out to where we got the council to kind of jump on board and be that investor to bring this to the community. And then, June 8, 9, and 10 this year, we had this huge festival. And I think people were probably skeptical at the beginning of what it was going to be, because you don't know what you don't know, mm-hmm. right? And I think from the overwhelming positivity that I've received from people still, every day, I think I have someone that says something to me when I'm out somewhere, and I think people realize that this wasn't a rinky-dink festival. It wasn't a halfway done thing. It wasn't a small-scale thing. It was probably the largest production that Clinton's ever seen. I know Riverboat Days had music and everything, but they didn't have, they didn't have 7 bands playing every single day with 2 stages and, touring acts with buses and semis and everything, So I think the positivity has been awesome, and people are really, really excited for next year already. I wish I had tickets on sale already, because we probably do well.
One of the comments I heard from people out in the community was the fact that this was a professional group. They knew what they were doing. They
Yes.
put this together in town, went out of town, everything without a hitch.
Yeah, so I did a lot of research on them before I even brought this to City Council. So I first talked to Wayne in February of, what's the year? 22. February of 22. I first talked to Wayne, and as soon as we got him to town here, I brought Josh in, Eggers, and our team. And then I started calling every city that they've worked in, that I could find that they've worked in. I called mayors, I called economic development, I called chambers, I talked to everybody and anybody I could, and I didn't hear one negative thing from them at all. I also talked to some community members that kind of caught wind that we were looking at doing this, and they had gone to Bloomington, and they expressed how well it was set up and all that and everything. So I definitely did research on the back end to make sure that this was a legit thing. And you were right, they are professionals. I mean, there were some hiccups along the way. None of the hiccups that we had, though, were the patrons who came aren't going to be affected by that. We had some kind of our own hiccups on the back end that, we're learning as we go. We've never done this as a city and everything. So we'll get those. It's nothing major, little things that we'll fix. But ultimately, at the end of the day, they are professionals. They bring a professional product. They bring a professional brand that's well known across the country. And it was just a wonderful setup. And if you look at the ground right now, you don't believe that we even had that there.
Yeah. And, I would think going forward, getting the sponsors to renew or getting new sponsors is going to be easier for you.
I think so. I think we're going to have a lot of sponsors that were on board year one that are going to be like, yep, we're in, right? So that's going to be good. We did hear a lot of, we want to see how it goes year one first. And I think after year one, we're going to see more sponsors and more people come because they realize what type of professional production it actually was. Yeah. And I will note this. I mentioned this at the city council meeting the other night. We actually got an email from an agent through Billy, who does who does all the artist stuff work for us. They emailed Billy, and it said in there, we would really like to bring a certain artist, I'm not going to name them, back to your festivals next year in 2024, and specifically we'd like to be in Clinton, Iowa. Great. So we actually had a touring artist who's on the radio that everybody would know, and their agent ask for Clinton.
That is great to hear. And now, is it always going to be the second weekend in June, Scott?
Yeah, it's kind of the way the calendar lines up. We're almost calling it's going to be kind of like the weekend before Father's Day every year, which is generally the second weekend. But it gets weird because like June starts on a Sunday at one point or a Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it'll be the weekend before Father's Day, basically. So next year we're not 100% locked in. We're at like 99.9% that it'll be. I think it's the 6th, 7th, and 8th next year of June.
Okay.
So,
well, again, Scott Maddasion studio with his pool credit.
Yeah. So Councilmember Detterman brought this up. It's been at council before, and even in my short time that I've done this, about giving a credit to folks who have a swimming pool, because obviously your sewer bill is based on your water consumption. That's how we calculate that. And if you fill your pool, then you get kind of smacked on the water bill a little bit, or the sewer bill, sorry, because that's what this is based off of. So we understand that water is not going into the sewer. Council brought this up. They wanted to look at having a credit for those folks. So there's some restrictions on it as far as you got to buy like a little separate meter, similar to what you would do if you were watering your yard, because Iowa American already has a water your yard meter type thing that you can get a discount on sewer bill and things like that for doing that. So same concept. I think they're like $20 on Amazon, and you hook it to your hose and it tells you how many gallons. You provide that information to the city, and then one time per year you can receive that credit on your sewer bill. So
Pat must have got some talk up there at the Lions filling station, because he doesn't have a pool.
He doesn't have a pool.
He doesn't have a pool.
I don't think any council members. I have one of those pools that you like build and take down every year.
Okay.
They're like $300, but I won't count because it's not permanent. So I'm just gonna have to pay it every year.
Outdoor service areas.
Yeah, I think you're going to see some more outdoor service areas for restaurants, bars, and things like that. We redid the ordinance, just passed it last council meeting, which was 2 days ago, to increase the ability for those types of outdoor service areas throughout there, because I think, whether you're sitting downtown or you're sitting up on Main Avenue, it's kind of nice to have a table outside and enjoy the weather and enjoy whatever food or beverage you're having. So I think that's it's kind of an important thing. I think COVID kind of got people outside a little bit, and we're a little late to the game, I guess, for a couple years late, but getting that revamped so that we have more of that presence out there. And then too, for any business district, if you drive by and you see people outside having a good time in the little area, I think maybe it will entice you a little bit more to patronize some of those businesses, because you see people having a good time and you want to be involved, right?
And before we take a break for the weather, there was a ribbon cutting at the skate park.
Yeah, yesterday we did a ribbon cutting at the skate park, completely renewed. We didn't realize this. We're the first concrete rip track in the state of Iowa. And I rode a bike around the rip track yesterday, and it's a little scary at first, to be honest with you. But I've driven down there a lot. I like to drive down, look at the river, on my way home, kind of relax before I get after work. And there's always kids down there. There's 20, 30 kids down there all the time. And I heard yesterday that there's actually been folks traveling from Davenport and other communities that are coming here just to ride on that because of what it is. And they're into the scooters and the skateboards and the BMX bikes and everything. So that's a really cool addition to our community. And some people may think it's silly, but for how much it's been used, the money we spent on it's already been worth it. And I think we're going to look to even expand it a little bit more because we got a little bit extra space down there. So hopefully, I was nudging Josh, like, what else can you put in? You know? So I think they're going to work on that, and it's just really cool. So.
And who knows, maybe there'll be a future Olympian here in Clinton who has trained at our skate park.
Well, we have the bike rodeo next week. We're going to do it down in Clinton Park, and we were thinking, like, man, we should have scheduled it here. We've already advertised down there, and I'll be there probably riding my scooter with a baby shark helmet on, but like I did last year. But I think the skate park there would be a cool place to have the bike rodeo in the future because there's a lot of space for people to ride around and everything, and you got the little lot by the pickleball court too you could use. So just a cool addition to our community, something different and something that's not only for our people, but it's attracting folks to come to town.
I like the mural too.
Oh yeah, like the birds riding the skateboards and stuff. I mean, the people that have done the murals so far, they're outstanding. Both sides of that building are outstanding. The community one and then the skate park one. And I noticed this morning I was riding my bike, there's like just randomly like stars and stuff all over 5th Avenue South on like the 100 block there. So it's pretty cool.
Back with more with Scott Madison's update of the weather brought to you by Service Master.
A little calmer day expected for us weather-wise, with still some warmth, but a little less humidity, too. We'll see a slight chance of an afternoon shower or storm as temperatures get into the mid-80s. Leftover storm this evening, followed by partly cloudy skies, and will drop into the mid-60s tonight. I'm meteorologist Andrew Stutzky with Storm Track 8.
Still generally overcast. We're at 70 degrees. Our update brought to you by Service Master.
When disaster strikes, Service Master at 215 4th Avenue South in Clinton is here to help. Here's owner Michael Armstrong.
We do a tremendous amount of disaster restorations. We deal with almost every single day.
Do you have regular business hours?
Yes, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. The vast majority of our work is disaster. So 24-hour service. Whenever you need us, we'll be there to help you.
For water, fire, and smoke damage, mold remediation, and other specialty cleaning, call Service Master of Clinton at 563-242-0724.
Back with more now with our mayor, Scott Madison. Let's get into SMID redistricting.
Yeah, the SMID is the Self-Supported Municipal Improvement District, which is downtown in the 5th Avenue South area, a couple blocks. It goes 4th Avenue to 7th, I think, or 6th, right in there. It's a district where the businesses down there, they pay an extra tax on their own to help improve the downtown, draw traffic, things like that. They're looking to expand their district a little bit. Also looking to change some things in their ordinance. They have a public meeting next Wednesday. That would be, the 14th at 5:15 at City Hall. So if you're interested in the downtown SMID district or what's going on down there and that's not only...
It actually would be the 19th.
19th. I'm looking at June.
Yeah, we haven't flipped our calendar over there yet. So July 19th.
19th, 5:15. Not only do they talk about the ordinance down there, but they just talk about their music on the avenue updates and the different things that they have in the downtown. So that's the board that kind of controls all that stuff. So if you're interested, might be cool to go down, sit in the meeting, and hear what they have going down there.
What's all going on downtown? I know, of course, you mentioned music on the avenue. That is going to be this evening. How are things going with the Wilson building?
So I didn't realize this, but they got a facade grant from the state. Well, I knew that. $250,000. They were not allowed to move people in until that grant was closed out, and it's officially closed out now, or pretty darn close. We had a final thing on the council meeting the other day, so they can now officially start moving people and businesses in. And I saw last night they had an advertisement online for the incubator spaces, like, hey, if you're looking to start a business, come down. So didn't realize that was going to be a hang up. I thought back in April, May timeframe when we did that open house and stuff, that they would be getting people in right away. But that's been a little bit of a nuisance, so to speak, as far as getting them going. Not a nuisance in the sense that it's negative, just one of those things. So hopefully we'll see moving trucks and things down there quite soon, and a couple businesses popping up.
Well, we're downtown, 4th Avenue South and 2nd Street, that area that was leveled. What can you tell us about that?
So I engaged a developer and then brought him to the table, and Matt and I in community development at the city have been in conversations to bring a 4-story condominium building, we'll say. First floor would be limited access, covered parking, like got to have a key card to get into it. So they'd have covered parking for that. 4 stories, top floor for sure would be condos for sale that would have view of the river. And, they were just talking in the $300,000 price range to start. Could be here or there depending on what fixtures you put in it and all that kind of stuff. So for sale condos, and then at least three floors, maybe only 2, depending on what they sell, of market rate apartments, luxurious apartments, and then a rooftop garden on the top that would have a view of the river. And the condos on the 4th floor, obviously, you could sit on your balcony and see the whole riverfront and everything. So we don't have a lot of housing on the river. If you think about it, we have 10 houses or so up north, and then a few scattered in the area down between Custom Pack and the marina. So we don't have a lot of housing on there. This would give you some tremendous views from that area, and I think it's something that we could add to our community that would be pretty cool. And then it gets more people living down there, and it looks fine that it's blank right now. At least we're not, the safety issues of that building are not there anymore. But we do want to make sure something gets developed there.
Okay. Atlas Roofing, ribbon cutting.
Yeah, so we've hopefully if everybody's heard that Atlas Roofing chose Clinton's Rail Park to bring their business. It's going to be about a $250 million project, and Andy and Grow Clinton have been talking about it for a while now. They're going to have an official ribbon cutting end of August. It's a limited invite just because of the space out there. There's not a lot of parking. It's right along the highway, so safety is an issue. They're going to bring a lot of people in from their corporate business or their corporate headquarters and things like that. So going to do an official ribbon cutting there and get that going. They're going to be moving dirt here hopefully soon to get it prepped a little bit for that ribbon cutting, but they want to be rocking and rolling and open in the 25-26 time frame. So if you drive out there right now, right behind OTR Tire is where they have the ground. And I was telling you off the air that if you drive by, you can see just how massive a footprint they're going to have because nothing got planted there. So it's just the bare ground and weeds right now. So it's going to be a massive plant. It's going to be big.
And you were telling me that they actually have some facilities in the area.
Yeah, they've got one in Iowa City and then outside the East Moline area. So they're familiar with the area. And they liked our site. We provided an incentive package that worked well for them, and really excited to have them come to town because they furnish their shingles to a lot of businesses in the area too that sell their product and things like that. If I heard it on the radio, Menards sells their shingles, which I thought it was kind of cool. Like, oh man, they're going to be in Clinton, right? Yeah. And it's going to be like it's like a 5 or 6 story process. Like apparently they send the sand and the asphalt and all that stuff up to the top, and then they have some kind of process, and the shingles appear at the bottom. I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah. Matt was telling me the process, and it was like over my head. I'm like, man, I can do simple math and give loans out, but I don't understand that stuff.
But once they get up and running, what a boom to the economy. I mean, to have those jobs, and I would imagine they're going to be well-paying jobs.
Yeah, they'll be good-paying jobs. They qualified for the high-quality jobs incentive through the state of Iowa, so their wages have to be over. I think it's about $18 an hour is what they have to be over to qualify for that. But judging by the sheet, I think they're going to be a little higher than that. I don't know exactly what they're going to pay, but it'll be above that high-quality jobs threshold.
And just if you could, maybe a ballpark number, once they do get going full tilt, how many people will be out there?
Yeah, we're looking at probably about 150 or so out there, and that number could adjust based on what they have going. I don't know if they'll make changes to their site plan or anything like this. But yeah, and there's going to be a lot of trucks going in and out of there. And what's really cool with this project, it's 36th Avenue South. We've been working with Lowmore, and we've annexed some ground from Lowmore with their approval. And 36th Avenue is going to go all the way over to, and I can't remember the road, but it would be where the interchange is, where you get off and you either go to Elvira or Lowmore. So you'll be able to come off that interchange, go towards Lowmore, take a left on 36th Avenue South, and drive right into the rail park.
Okay. Yeah.
So that'll be cool. And then also like having them right on the highway. None of the businesses in the rail park are close to the highway, so you can't really see them. Yeah. Having this big massive plant right there hopefully will attract some more people to come because they see the site, the industrial site, and they see an actual facility there.
Okay, now one of your other notes here is bonding for projects. Is that right?
Yep. So we did our annual bonding for projects. Manufacturing Drive is a huge portion of that this year because we're going to hope construction will start next year on Manufacturing Drive and working their way into Bluff. So that was a big part of that. We got a pretty favorable interest rate at 3.78. We were at 3.1 last year, so to only go up that little bit is pretty good. We had our financial planner from PFM there, and she talked a lot about the plan going forward for financial as far as borrowing and what we need to do to increase our rating and things like that. So it was a very good presentation, and the council were pretty excited to get some of those big projects working. Pavement management's in there. That's $2.5 million to continue to work on roads, and I think it's important that people know we are addressing roads. It can't do it all at one time. Right. We can't touch every road every year or get it all done in 1 year, but we are working diligently, the council, myself, and staff, to really, really address all of those road projects that are out there to make sure that we have, quality roads for transportation in town here.
And wrapping up with Scott Maddasion, again, thanks for coming in. Farmers Market.
Yeah. It's getting close to being done, that pavilion up there, and it's really cool. So I just wanted to kind of give a shout out to the Lions Business District and all the work that they did to raise money to help with that project, and the city coming in to help too. And it's going to be a really cool thing for the area up there. And just drive by up there. I know last night they had the concert at the Foursquare Park. So they got some music going on up there that's right across the street from that. So just drive by, take a look. I know it's maybe not a road that everybody goes down all the time, but take a look at it and see, because that's going to be a huge addition to the Lions District up there.
And speaking of the Lions District, I know the Thorntons, Dennis Lauver, Tom Detterman, a group out in Des Moines, Dave Rose, on a project to connect our riverfronts. Yeah,
they're trying to get some money to finish the study to get the River Drive to go from the 9th Avenue North all the way up to Main Avenue area. The city put $150,000 in. We got $650,000 from Senator Knoyer through the state to work on the studies, and then it's about $2 million to get the whole thing done to make it a shovel-ready project. So they're trying to get that other 1.2 to get to that point. And I was supposed to go out there with them, and we had some things. I was supposed to open our second branch of the credit union this week, but our computer vendors kind of slowed us down. So I didn't make it out there, but I wish them the best of luck, and hopefully on Friday when they come back, they've got some good news.
Yeah,
so.
And of course, next Friday, the 21st, they're going to have something up at the Sawmill Museum.
Yeah.
The public's invited from 5 to 6:30, I believe.
Yep, they're just trying to get public interest, public support, and let everybody know what they're trying to do, which is good.
If people want to find out more what's happening in the city of Clinton, what can they best do?
I think you can. One of the best things to do is go to our website, go to the agendas and minutes portal. You can see all the agendas for every committee that the council has, including the city council agendas. You can sign up for alerts. You can sign up for emails when all that stuff come out. So you can look at all the agendas and say, hey, if the Historic Preservation Commission's meeting today at noon, they've got something on the agenda that interests me, you can go to the meeting. It tells you where they're at and the times and all that stuff. So I think that's the easiest way to do that. And then obviously pay attention to social media. We try to send out as much as we can on social media so people can easily see things as they're scrolling through their feeds.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
And what's interesting about Wembanyama is, unlike Zion, we watched him play,